Ta-da! See, I'm not dead. And I actually have something new to show you. It's not what I said I would have right now, but if at this point you were expecting me to be consistent and reliable, then you haven't really been paying attention, right? And besides, what I have is really cool. It's fast travel, okay, in Minecraft. Oh, and it's a data pack, so you don't need any mods to run it. Follow me to the other side of the intro. I'm Austin, and this is Unenlightened. Folks, I am pleased to introduce warp crystals. Have you ever wanted to travel somewhere you've been before in Minecraft that is just really out of the way? You just get so exhausted. If only there was a way, like in some other video games where you could fast travel to a place you'd been before. Welcome to the future. Now, I wanted this thing to work like a genuine game mechanic. I didn't want it to be incredibly easy to accomplish, and as a side note, it kind of creates a chunk loader when you use it. There wasn't really a way to avoid that. So in order to make these things difficult to produce, I require some very challenging ingredients. I modified the loot tables by basically just ripping off the Vanilla Tweaks Dragon Egg data pack, so that the dragon drops a dragon egg every single time it dies, even if it's a new dragon. So ingredient number 1 is a dragon egg. Ingredient number 2 is this block of netherite that I have right here, and that actually is supposed to be under your feet. And then ingredient number 3 is a conduit. You must be master of the nether, the end, and the sea in order to make this. So I've got all my ingredients, but I'm not quite holding them correctly. I need to have the conduit in my offhand. I need to be standing on the netherite block, as I am presently. And then I need to be holding the dragon egg in my main hand, and then as you can see, a thunderstorm begins, and this wonderful sparkly purple particle effect starts. And then if I crouch, you'll hear the nether portal effect start. And then... ta-da! The ground beneath me has been replaced with bedrock. There's a thing over my head that says warp point, and that's connected to this. And the conduit and dragon egg have been taken out of my inventory and been replaced with this lovely little thing in my hand. You can see it's this spiky little model that I made, and basically, if you hold this in your offhand, anywhere where you're standing on solid ground, in the overworld, and not underwater, if you crouch, you'll be teleported right back to this location. And these crystals are, as you might notice, very solid, very tangible, very losable, you know? So, say I lost this crystal, right? Okay, that'll kill that item. And that is still an amethyst shard, just with a custom model attached to it. You need the resource pack in order for the custom model to be there, but you don't need the resource pack in order for the data pack to work. Anyway, I lost it. It's gone. Not in my inventory, nothing up my sleeves. But I do have some regular amethyst shards. So the punishment for losing it is you have to get yourself back here manually. It's not actually very expensive to make more. All you have to do is throw one on the warp point, and you can make a fresh crystal. I figured it's hard enough to get the things you need to make one. I didn't want it to be impossible to get back to it and get your warp crystals back if you happen to lose them. I just didn't really want that to be that big of a punishment. It's already difficult enough. If you wanted your warp point to be private, then you would need to do whatever you gotta do to protect the area around your warp point. If it's on an anarchy server, then, I mean, it doesn't matter because people can do all kinds of cheating anyway, and this would be completely irrelevant. This is more of a roleplay server type thing. So there you go, I get my crystal back. Fun fact, because the way that the duplicate crystals are made and the way that the original crystal is made aren't exactly the same, you'll actually end up with duplicate crystals that don't stack with the original, but they don't. That doesn't affect the way that they work. There might be a way for me to fix that, but for the time being, that's just the way it is. You can rename these crystals. Potato, pull those both out of there. You'll notice they aren't shiny anymore. But if you throw it on the ground, it'll get shiny again. It then won't stack, but if you throw the next one on the ground, it'll get shiny again, and then they stack again. Even though it's called potato, it still works. Offhand. Needs to be in your offhand. You'll see you get this particle effect, similar to when you create the warp point. Crouch, get the beacon sound effect, then a little ding, and then you appear over here. Worth noting, again, the warp does not work while you're in the water. Okay, doesn't work while you're in the air. It starts after you touch the ground, and you might have noticed that sharp stop there. You also can't run while the warp is happening, and if you let go, the timer resets. So it's not really designed to be a way to get you out of dangerous situations. It's not like Breath of the Wild where you can jump off a cliff to avoid something dangerous and then just warp to a safe location. I figured Minecraft is a little too harsh for something that overpowered. So you might be wondering if it's possible to change the name on the warp point itself so that it doesn't just say warp point like that. And yes, sort of. You can do it before it's placed. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But after it goes down, the name is locked in and it can't be changed again. If that's important, do you think that's something that I should add? Let me know in the comments and I'll throw that in there. That's a possibility. So here, let me remove this. There's a creative mode only command to remove these warp points that gets rid of the armor stand that holds the name tag and the block below, and also it disables the chunk loader. If you do this command in creative mode, it'll get rid of all of those things at once. These aren't really designed to be removed by the survival players. Once you do it, it's permanent. But in creative mode on a server, you know, stuff like that, you want to be able to get rid of them just in one command. All you have to do is trigger warp delete, and that gets replaced with stone. The armor stand's gone. Everything associated with it is gone other than the crystals. But anyway, the reason I removed that one is to show you how to properly name it. So if I make that netherite block again, then I need my conduit. I don't know, we'll call it Candyland. And it's named Candyland. And as a side note, so is the crystal you're given. You can still rename this crystal, but it will default to warp crystal unless you have that named conduit. And then, just like the armor stand, it will pick up the name of the conduit. The lightning bolt, by the way, will I mean, it's a lightning bolt. It'll damage you, but it's not going to kill you. But just worth noting, I wouldn't go and do this with super low health. So if I wanted to make a second one, let's go over here. You know, we can go, let's go nice and far away. Okay, we are very, very far away. Now I can still make a warp point here. Just another side note, the conduit that you name will be in your offhand. We're going to go ahead and rename this Distant Warp. The conduit that you name will be in your offhand, which means it's not the one that the creation of the portal will take out of your inventory if you have other conduits in your inventory. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to make sure that, like, if there's a conduit that's, I don't know, special to you for some strange reason, you're going to want to keep that out of your inventory just to make sure it doesn't get dragged into the whole process of creating the portal. Same is true for dragon eggs. And the netherite block, obviously, you'd be fine because it would be the one that you've placed under your feet. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And we can warp all the way back to here. And we are in the original location with the warp crystal's sign. And then we can go back to distant warp with no problems. And that is because these chunks become force loaded. So the thing that you will notice that does pretty much render these crystals useless, because the loaded area is not massive. The thing is, if I do go ahead and delete this warp point, okay, so this is gone now. So you'll see while we're still in the immediate area, this is the distant warp key. We can still warp here because this is a loaded coordinate to teleport to. But if we go to Candyland, which is still a functional one that we haven't broken, we go back over here. And then we try to take the distant warp key back into our hand. So we've got distant warp in our hand. It'll make the noise, it'll do all the things, it'll ding, but then we don't go anywhere. And it just goes in a loop because we are too far away from that location to teleport back to it. Now again, if you were back in the vicinity somehow manually, then this key would work again. But you'll also notice there's this funny little armor stand here. So again, they're not meant to be removed. Well, it would require a whole extra tag that I wasn't using yet. So if that is crucial, again, comments, you know the deal. That's pretty much it for the data pack. If you'd like to see a breakdown of how it works, or if you have any thoughts on maybe how to update it, let me know in the comments. I thought it might be good to change the required items, so I may do that if there's enough interest in the pack, or maybe make a way so that you can change the required items to whatever you want. If you're looking to download it, you can find all the links in the card or in the description, and I have no idea what I'm going to make next. I'm pretty confident that promising a finished product shuts my brain down completely, so we're going to go ahead and live in a cloud of secrecy now, and that includes me. I'm working on things, a bunch of things. but I'm just going to put out videos on whatever I'm feeling at the time. Today it's Minecraft Datapack. Tomorrow, who knows? Like and subscribe if you can respect the boldness of asking you to like and subscribe after such a wishy-washy statement, and join the Patreon if something is deeply wrong with you and you feed on disappointment. Also for early uploads and God knows what else. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss my next upload, which hopefully won't be 19 months from now, and thanks for watching. It's been a blast, and I will see you next time.